Grace, Fear, DeCandio on your left, Moughon, Walker, and Connett on your right. Look at the teamwork over on the right here, by the way. Same shirts. They care. They came to win. They're shooting guns at the camera. I'm shooting finger guns back at them. Patrick hates us both. It's great. Connett, let me make sure I get his name right. Connett is undefeated in Standard with his red-black aggro deck. Nick Miller just wrote that down on a sheet of paper, handed it to me. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Nick.
What do you think the success in our years here of people beating down in Standard in Dallas?
Very high. Very, very high.
Very high.
This is the beatdown state, as far as I'm concerned. And Christopher Connett, a name that I'm familiar with just yet, but we might be at the conclusion of this tournament, maybe at the conclusion of this round, because he is beating people down this weekend.
In case people think that I have, lost the fire a little bit about Magic, in between rounds I've been working on Zach Elsick's mono red sneak attack deck list.
Yeah, Patrick, just immediately after the last round, we were on our short break, just decided he wanted to work on that deck, wanted to try to get me in to working on the deck, and I politely declined. Maybe it wasn't polite.
Yeah. I want to be on Inferno Titan, because you can just cast that thing, and that's good enough to beat a lot of your opponents in Legacy.
I like Inferno Titan, actually.
If everyone's playing Delver decks, you don't need to try that hard. It doesn't need to be Emrakul. Inferno Titan is basically Emrakul.
Yeah. Here's Bomac Courier, a little Bobo. A little Bo. So we head back over to DeCandio. Moughon, kick it over. Looks like he may have Magma Spray in hand. He does. In with Bomac Courier yet again. So 2 cards underneath. The little artifact creature that could. We'll follow up here for Connett. Is a Scrap Heap Scrounger. That's a good Magma Spray target. And it's dead. And it's gone.
Good patience there from DeCandio.
Brennan with the Blooming Marsh and a Merfolk Branchwalker trigger. Rootbound Crag gonna go to the grip.
It's about how you draw it up on the draw so far.
Mm-hmm. We'll go over to Connett. Who's got his Bomac Courier doing a little bit of work here.
Fanatical Firebrand. The modest beats.
Here's Earthshaker Kenra. Unblockable creatures. Here they come. In for 3. Down at 15 goes to DeCandio. There's a Canyon Slew. Pass the turn back over to Brennan. Brennan will draw a card now. He's got that Branchwalker. Picked up a copy of Rekindling Phoenix. We know about the Rootbound Crag in hand. He'll play a Blooming Marsh right now, though. It looks like he may have an Abrade in hand here. There is an Abrade to take care of Bomac Courier now while Connett is tapped out. So Connett's not going to have access to those cards. And those will be exiled forever. So now we'll go over to Christopher for his 4th turn of the game. You mentioned the Fanatical Firebrand. He does have one of those in his hand. He'll draw a card for the turn, picked up a copy of Pianalar.
Not the worst way to fill out this turn. He also has access to, he could play the Scrap Heap Scrounger and the Fanatical Firebrand. Take care of the Branchwalker.
Yep, there's Fanatical Firebrand. I'll clear that away. He'll start by attacking for 2. That's the easy part. Going to bring DeCandio down to 13. And our follow-up now is Scrap Heap Scrounger. So we'll head back over to Brennan DeCandio. He'll draw. His turn could be pretty simple, truth be told, which is a land and a Rekindling Phoenix. That's exactly what it's going to be. And that 4/3 flyer looks like it might be on blocking duty as we head back over to Christopher Connett. Connett will draw a card. Didn't get a great look at it. But we know he's got Pia. He's got another Firebrand as well.
And Connett can send in the Scrounger if he wants to, and if DeCandio blocks, then you can use the Fanatical Firebrand. Finish off the Elemental. Go get your Scrap Heap Scrounger back. Got to be a little nervous about taking this hit if you're DeCandio, so it's not an ideal block, but I think taking 3 there is just a little dangerous.
finish that off, so that Rekindling Phoenix ain't going to come back. Pass the turn back. Let's go back over to DeCandio. Heart of Cure in the draw. He's got another copy of Rekindling Phoenix, so he'll just play the big bird, pass that turn back. Scrounger's going to come on back here for Christopher. Yeah, it looks like last turn. Except this turn, Chris drew a mountain. And he has a Hazoret now. And here come the beatdowns. One of these 4-drops is better than the other.
Little surprised there not to see the Earthshaker come in, because if DeCandio blocks there and takes 7 and goes to 6.
Takes 8.
Or, excuse me, takes 8. Goes to 5. That doesn't sound that bad to me.
No, it doesn't sound bad at all. It's basically a free attack. Also, you don't mind having Earthshaker in the graveyard.
Right.
Depending on how the game goes.
Yep.
Well, Scrappy's Scrounger will get blocked.
Yeah, it's not pretty, but DeCandio just can't take the whole hit here.
Well, Phoenix back. Draw a card. That Phoenix does have haste.
That's the other reason I think to send in the Earthshaker is he's just getting his blocker right back anyway.
Force the draw to go along with the third Rekindling Phoenix, a Heart of Karen, and a Glory Bringer. That's the grip.
Legacy Challenge players, please report to side event registration.
There's a Forest, Rekindling Phoenix, pass it over. So can block Hazoret for a very long time.
Yeah, that's got to be the line of play here from DeCandio. He's got to just make it prohibitive to block.
Another Firebrand.
And now it's a little bit awkward for Connett because he needs to get his hand size reduced. You would like to save the shock to finish off the elemental token, but you got to commit beforehand if you can't get to 1 card in hand. So I think Connett can just dump out his hand and then attack with the Hazoret. I believe one of the cards in hand is Fanatical Firebrand, which could then finish off the elemental. You just cast your stuff.
Here's Pia. Thopper token. Looks like he's going to slow roll a little bit with the Firebrand.
Yeah, I mean, if he can't make inroads by attacking this turn, I thought the last card in hand was the Fanatical Firebrand, which would have.
It is.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred an attack there. It's, it's all of your mana, and you actually make some inroads on the board. But it's possible that Connett just wants to save it to. He would rather just be shocking with Hazoret than finishing off the elemental.
There's Glorybringer. And we will have Glorybringer take care of Pianalar via Exert, and 4 damage will come across there. While these Rekindling Phoenixes, plural, continue to play defense. Group on Crag and kick it over. That'll be DeCandio's turn.
Unlicensed Disintegration.
There's an artifact.
That's powerful in conjunction with artifacts and a general aggressive posture in the games.
Yes.
We were about to find out how.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Yes. Don't turn that dial.
Yeah, you are. You're about to see a demo here. I mean, you can, if you disintegrate one of the Phoenixes and finish off the elemental with the Firebrand, then DeCandio falls to 5, and he has to block Hazoret with the Phoenix.
There's the Firebrand.
I guess the question here is if you think he's going to mess up the block. It is hard for it to go wrong here, I think, from Con's perspective, I think I would have preferred pre-combat Unlicensed Disintegration because you only have the one artifact, and if DeCandio responds with a Magma Spray, it informs maybe how you want to attack.
Sure. There are your blocks. So one Rekindling Phoenix is going to go in front of Earthshaker Kenra. The other one's going to go in front of Hazaret the Fervent. And it looks like the Thopter token's going to chug on through for 1. It looks like before damage, Unlicensed Disintegration will take care of that Rekindling Phoenix.
Yeah, I think I would have just had a preference for all this happening before combat. DeCandio's down a blocker. He just has to throw a Phoenix in front of the Hazaret. So this kind of costs you 2 because you got a free block on the Earthshaker.
Well, I think if you Unlicensed Disintegration pre-combat, and then I guess you get to then you get to kill the token with the fire. Then you have 1 block.
And then you're just your Earthshaker connects for free. And
Gotcha. Took me a second. Gotcha. Phoenix back.
Remains to be seen here if DeCandio can just do anything about the Hazaret over the next 2 turns.
I don't think so.
He might just get shocked out of this game.
Yeah. And Chris's life total's so high, got a lot of time to work with. You know, he's going to get 2 draw steps most likely. The glasses are off.
Well, DeCandio needs to shorten the length of this game. The Hazaret's just going to beat him if he can't close this game out in 2 turns.
Well, I don't know. I cannot imagine him being able to close this game out in 2 turns.
Well, if he's thinking about anything here, it's got to be attacking with the Phoenix. That's the only line of play he can really contemplate. I suppose if he has a removal spell, if he has something like a Braid, maybe he just wants to do it now on the Thopter to prevent any artifact thing from emerging.
Connett will draw a card. Yep, beatdowns. There's your block. Okay.
You just pass.
Yep. There's a Braid to take care of Earthshaker. You see our scoreboard is updated here. Avard has won game 1 over Tannen. Matthews won game 1 over Harlan. And it looks like Chris is going to win game number 1 here over Brennan, most likely. Be getting out the old brooms, folks. The old clean sweeperino. I don't know what card this is, but he's reaching for mana. So a Braid is going to take care of Earthshaker. 1 damage to be dealt. And now this isn't a Braid. That's going to take care of the token.
I think I prefer this line less than just shocking him twice.
Yeah, I prefer just kill you over a turn and a half than this.
You put him on 1 draw step to answer the Hazaret. And if he answers the Hazaret, it's not going to matter that you had an Braid here. His board's pretty overwhelming.
Glory B coming in. Well, there's another Glory B. Pass the turn back. I guess DeCandio was hoping that maybe Connett makes some sort of error here. I'm not sure. Yeah, he's going to get back Strap Keeps Scrounger, so no error to be made there. As Christopher Connett's going to win game at number 1 here with Brandon DeCandio. Your team on the right getting out the brooms, folks. They are all up a game in their respective matches. So Storm, Burn, and Red-Black Aggro up over Grixis Delver, Jeskai Control, and Green-Red Monsters. Each team go to the sideboards. We'll keep our focus here on the standard match. We'll be joining those sideboards in just a moment. But for now, a few words from our sponsors. Welcome back, everybody. Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan. We are here in the booth, SCGDFW. That's the hashtag, at SCG Tours, which you can follow on Twitter. As we're in round number 13 of our Team Constructed Open here, Rivals of Ixalan Celebration Weekend, given its release on Friday. We got Brendan DeCandio on your left, Christopher Connett on your right. It's the Green Red Monsters versus Red Black Aggro, the standard portion of this team matchup. We're going to start with DeCandio, who's down a game, so he'll be on the play here for game number 2. Chandra, Torch of Defiance. There's 3 of those, along with 2 Chandra's Defeat, 2 Death Gorge Scavenger, 2 Sweltering Suns, 2 Naturalized, 2 Struggle to Survive, a Thrashing Brontodon, and a Direfleet Daredevil in the sideboard. What do we like?
I think I like the Scavenger in this matchup, along with the anti-artifact cards to fight over Scrappy Scrounger and just some of the random artifacts that Connett has available to him. The 2 copies of Sweltering Sun seem good here, along with the Chandra's Defeats. I like the Thrashing Brontodon. I think DeCandio just needs to get a lot lower to the ground, cut some of his top end, especially that the parts of his top end that don't interact well against unlicensed integration.
Taking a look at Chris's side, he's got 4 Duress, 3 Chandras of his own, 2 Fatal Push, 2 Glorybringer, 2 Magma Spray, and a Braid, and a fun little copy of Aethersphere Harvester.
I would lean towards same 60.
Smith, same deck?
Maybe. I think it's hard to protect Chandra against DeCandio's 4-power pace threats. I don't know if you want to go big with him. It seems like Connett's advantages in the early game. I'm not really that interested in Aethersphere Harvester. He doesn't have any juicy Braid targets. His deck is mostly creatures, so I'm not interested in Duress. You know, if you want a little bit more interaction, maybe you want the Fatal Pushes, maybe you want the Glorybringers, but I think Connett's best cards are in his main deck.
Well, he made game 1 look pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, he was just much more efficient. And DeCandio interacted well. I mean, he was on the draw with a Magma Spray for the Scrappy Scrounger, a Branch Walker that hit a land, made all of his land drops, had removal along the way, but
3 Rekindling Phoenix, a Glorybringer.
Right.
Yeah.
It just Connett got in some early damage, and DeCandio could not stabilize against Hazoret.
It's pretty straightforward stuff, honestly. You can't say he didn't do his thing. He certainly did. His thing was just no good that particular game. So that is sometimes how it goes. As these players do take a look at their opening hands, we'll learn a little bit more about Brendan DeCandio, who's on the play here for game number 2 with his Green Red Monsters deck. An innovator in Standard, to be sure, is a 27-year-old from Long Island, New York. 7 open top 8s, 2 wins. He went back-to-back over the course of 2016 and 2017. One of 3 players on the SCG Tour to do that. Jerry Thompson, Tom Ross, the others. Big fan of Dragon Ball Z, Chipotle, and Catchphrase is the member of Team BCW. And apparently, he likes himself some Green Red Monsters, too, because he and his team are doing some nice work here this weekend, and it's in no part due to him. I like this deck, and I think he does, too.
And a lot of DeCandio's best work on the SCG Tour has been week 1 of Standard. He's been ahead of the curve, and the minute that Rivals of Ixalan was available to be tested on Magic Online, he was brewing a variety of Jund and Red-Green monster lists and settled on something that he's liked. And he, along with his teammates Harlan Fear and Tanning Grace, striking distance of the top 8 with a few rounds to go.
Well, looks like Chris is going to take a mulligan here, so Brendan's pretty happy with what he is working with thus far. Healthy little turnout here in Dallas. Want to give a shout out to everybody who did join us at the Fort Worth Convention Center here yesterday. And of course today, right now, we had 207 teams. That's 621 players. My math is still good here in my old age. Nick Miller's on to the show. We'll have to celebrate this weekend. Nick Miller never lost it.
100 shows.
That's a lot of shows. I'm going to do the math on my shows actually tonight when we get done. I'm going to go take a look. We decided it's weekends. Weekends is...
Yeah, we don't count the back in the day, 2 opens in a weekend.
Correct.
We count weekends.
So I'm going to go take the look when I get back. See, Nick claims it's easily over 100, which is terrifying. But I think he's right.
2014 and 2015, I think we did over 70 just on those 2 years. And we've been here for a while.
Yeah.
So
no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. So Rebound Crag is where we're going to start here for Brendan DeCandio. It's a mountain there for Chris. Let's go back over to Brendan, who's got a Blooming Marsh. And old Branchy. There's a Branch Walker. Another Branch Walker.
Going infinite.
Branch Walker flooded. Going infinite's stretched. DeCandio's got to decide if he wants to keep Merfolk Branch Walker. Crowds are kind of split on the power level of this card. Some players really like it, others don't think it's particularly good at all. So I'm curious to see how that one's going to shake out in the format.
Well, I think you have to your deck has to be okay with 3-2 for 2, because that's the outcome a lot of the time. A lot of the very value-centric decks that we've seen in Standard recently are just, all I want to be doing is just drawing cards and accumulating additional material, which is why the emphasis has been on Rogue Refiner and cards similar to that. So if you're actually beating down like DeCandio is, and you're okay with the outcome of, you know, basically 3-2 Scribe 1, the card's great, and you still get the cantrip experience some of the time. But the extra card is not guaranteed, and for some of the decks, that's a deal breaker.
Another Branch Walker is another 3-2. Chandra's Defeat is the reveal. DeCandio does have a copy of Magma Spray in hand, too. He's going to let Chandra's Defeat go, swing in here for 3, and we're going to move on after the spray takes care of the Scrounger.
And with, you know, DeCandio playing with Phoenixes and Glory Bringers, you see here, he's totally happy with 3-2 for 2 with a Scry.
Totally fine.
But if your deck's trying to play the Scarab God, and you're trying to play a long game, maybe that part of the range is a deal breaker, because all you want is 2-1 draw land.
Mm-hmm. Swamp. There for Christopher. Maybe it's time for another Scrounger? Yeah. That's that turn back. Over to DeCandio we go. Hardiker in the draw. Good with the Branch Walker.
Oh yeah, we saw that yesterday. That got me going.
Yeah.
10 a.m. sealed players, your parents for round 4.
In for 6 with the Branch Walkers.
10 a.m. sealed players, your parents for round 4. Available now.
And now here's Death Gorge Scavenger. Goodbye Magma Spray. Pass that turn back. We'll take a look at Death Gorge Scavenger as well. Given that Connett's taking a look, I guess we can do the same, as Legacy's going to be heading to game number 3 here. Tan and Grace did tie things up in his match, so Grixis, Delver, and Storm moving on. There's your Death Gorge Scavenger. 3-mana 3-2 Dinosaur, one of the cheaper ones in the format. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may exile target card from a graveyard. If a creature card is exiled this way, you gain 2 life. A non-creature card is exiled this way. Death Gorge Scavenger gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
To the site event registration stage.
It looks like Scrap Heap Scrounger's going to come in. DeCandio will take that hit. Looks like most of DeCandio's creatures can crew Hardiker pretty well, so that's nice. Pretty good deck building there. Even Pia does a nice job.
And this is my concern with Connett trying to go big and playing with the Chandras. I don't think he protects Planeswalkers particularly well, especially against DeCandio's threats. And I don't think he has the staying power to play a late game with DeCandio either. To say nothing of the interference with Hazoret. You know, once you start playing with a bunch of 4s, it takes a little bit longer for Hazoret to be able to attack. And I think that's Connett's best card in the matchup by far.
It's between Hazoret and Chandra right now. We've seen this song in Dance and Standard for a while now. Which 4-drop do I want to play? Rekindling Phoenix has been added to that equation as well. A lot of great 4-mana red spells in this format. Connett's going to bring it down to 1. Take care of the Scavenger. Lose the Chandra here probably pretty soon. But let's go back over to Brendan DeCandio, who'll untap those 5 permanents and draw a card. Picked up another copy of Rootbound Crag, and there's the battlefield untapped because of that forest if he wants to play it. He'll use the Branch Walker to take care of Chandra and a little bit of Christopher's life total. He's going to fall down to 8, will Chris. Big follow-up here. Might be the Heart of Karen. It is. Rootbound Crag. Yeah, it's untapped. There we go. And now the Dire Fleet Daredevil.
Nothing to do.
Mm-hmm. I know players like to compare that one to Snapcaster Mage, but they're pretty different cards.
Yeah.
They're pretty different cards. 2-mana, 2/1 first strike. Nice stats. First strike, nice on a 2/1. And Direfleet Daredevil enters battlefield. Exile target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. You may cast that card this turn, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast that spell. If that card we put in a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So Snapcaster-esque, but very different cards.
So Connett here can only cast one spell this turn. He can cast a Chandra, he can cast a Hazoret, or he can cast an Earthshaker. None of those cards do enough to stabilize.
I think he might be coming to that realization here in just a moment. There's Chandra. Plus it for red mana and play Earthshaker, I suppose. Yep. That one can't block. Here comes Scrounger because that one can't block. So 3 damage will come across here. We head back over to DeCandio. It's 1 removal spell away from crossing the finish line, I think.
Or a threat.
That works. Rekindling Phoenix is going to crew the Heart of Kieran. And here come all the knuckleheads. Gonna ignore the Chandra, come at you. And that'll take care of this particular game. So Brandon DeCandio is going to win game number 2 here over Christopher Connett. Green-red monsters, red-black aggro getting ready here for game number 3. You see Grace and Moughon. They're also going to go to game number 3. And then Harlan Fear and Matthew Walker. That's Jeskai Control versus Burn. Fear down a game. But they're working their way through game number 2. They could be going to game number 3 soon, too. So we got a close match here in round number 13 between 2 teams at the very top of the standings. We'll watch it continue in just a bit. But first, a couple messages from our sponsors.
Go. Go.
Game number 3 about to be underway between all 3 matches.
Teams is great.
It really
everyone
is.
down a game and then everyone going to game 3 is good pressure.
Yeah, I am absolutely loving it. We got Grixis Delver and Storm going to game 3. Jeskai Control and Burn going to game 3. And what's in front of you, Green-red monsters and red-black aggro. 2 brand new standard decks in this brand new standard format getting ready for game number 3. I love it. If you miss any of this match or any of our other matches, you can always check out our StarCityGames.com YouTube page, where you can go back and watch the replays of this tournament and so many other tournaments. A whole bunch of other stuff going on over there as well. Play Split Second, hosted by Star City's own Jeremy Knoll, versus Series. That's with Brad Nelson, Todd Anderson, Todd Stevens, and Ross Merriam. We got the Commander versus Series with Stephen Green, Jeremy Knoll, Jonathan Suarez, and Justin Parnell. Magic Online playtesting. The best of the SCG Tour and a whole bunch more. Subscribe today at youtube.com/StarCityGames. Become one of over 120,000 subscribers today. New content always being uploaded to the page, especially our new take on Versus videos and Mini Masters, which I know players and viewers have been enjoying, so we're glad that you liked those. And a lot more fun stuff coming here in 2018 that we know you will enjoy. For now, though, I'm ready to see some more of this red-black aggro deck. Christopher Connett, undefeated this weekend in Standard, has not lost a match with this red-black aggro deck. Man, it looks like Tannen has won his legacy match, so the team of Gray Sphere and DeCandio now up a match. Pressure goes on the other team here on the right.
A little consultation here
Love it.
about these game 3 hands.
The Council of the Soratami. You know that card, right?
Draw 2, divination.
There it is. There it is. Looks like Christopher is going to keep. Brennan unsure, getting a little help from Harlan.
Big match here, a win for Connett's team, and they kind of coast into the top 8. DeCandio, you pick up your 3rd loss here.
Not great.
You may not have one to spare. He's going to lay it down.
Down to 6 he goes. Down to 6. Well, he takes a mulligan. It's a great time to talk about the StarCityGames.com weekly sale, because there's not a lot of time left, folks, to save up to 75% off of select supplies.
Head over to go.starcitygames.com weekly sale once a week. Check out what the new sale is. Right now, 75% off select supplies, sleeves, play mats, binders, deck boxes, what have you. Go.starcitygames.com/weekly sale.
Classic what have yous. We'll see DeCandio take a look at 6 cards in just a moment for Tannen Grace. He gets the job done for his team. Big win there. See how well this Green and Monsters deck does mulligan as well, while also being under a little bit of pressure. Looks like DeCandio's going to keep. Here we go. It's Moughon. It's a Bomat Courier. In for 1 trigger. Don't forget that card. There we are. Over to Brennan DeCandio now. It's a Forest. He'll simply pass the turn back. To Christopher Connett we go. Dragon Skull Summit's looking pretty attractive. There's his black mana. Here comes the second Bomat Courier. Let's make it 3 Bomat Couriers. Beep, beep. Trigger, trigger, trigger. And 1. And 2. 3 Bomat Courier triggers. And pass it. It's Raging Goblin-esque. Sort of.
Shades.
Shades of Raging Goblin. And the Roadblock, maybe. Yep, Magma Spray, which is pretty nice. But DeCandio doesn't want that.
Just wants to try to block here. And I think he might have Sweltering Suns in hand, in which case he's really putting a premium on just getting the second red source of mana.
Bunch of Bomat Couriers, bunch of cards underneath them. Scrap Heap's Crown to the draw. Mountain here in Christopher's hand. You can see he and Matthew Walker doing a little teamwork. Actually, excuse me, that's Everett. There's Mountain. A Braid will take care of the Branch Walker. Here they come again. And a 1. And a 2. And a 3.
And this might be a little bit of an insurance policy, too, against the sweeper as well, because he gets to clear out, gets another trigger for his Bomat Couriers.
A Braid the draw there for DeCandio. That's not the land he's looking for. All he can do is pass the turn back. I think he does have Sweltering Suns, as you mentioned. On the upkeep, maybe potentially the draw step,
Draw
actually.
step here, because he wants Connett to lose the card that he just drew in the event that he wants to sacrifice that Bomat Courier.
Got it. So Braid's going to target the Bomat Courier with the most cards underneath it, it looks like?
Yeah.
Just going to let it go.
Yeah, it looks like Connett here with a good follow-up in his 4th copy of Bomat Courier along with the Scrappy Scrounger. So no reason to activate the Bomat Courier in that spot. Pia Nalar as his last card, so very good hand.
See this squad here on the right, working through the iterations and the implications. There's Scrappy Scrounger. Here they come.
And Connett here not deploying the last Bomat Courier. I guess he's respecting the possibility of a sweeper here and wants to have the option of improving his hand as well.
Mountain the draw. Paid off not doing that.
Yep.
There's Sweltering Suns.
Really nice sequencing here from Connett. Got paid off here.
That's yeah. Which one do you want to sacrifice?
Yeah, I think DeCandio is maybe getting a bit frustrated with the pace of play here, as Connett's been, you know, very slow and methodical with his with the way he's been sequencing things, and DeCandio saying it doesn't matter, just whichever one.
Just pick one.
The 3 random cards you pick.
All right, we head back over to Christopher now. He's got 3 new cards in his hand. He'll draw one. On-Crop Crasher in hand. Spire of Industry 2.
Shock, I believe, is the last one.
And I see an Unlicensed Disintegration.
Yeah, good set of cards here.
Not bad.
I like getting this shot in with the Crasher here while DeCandio's tapped out. No guarantee you're able to do it next turn. He's shown Magma Spray, some other 1-mana interaction.
Also don't have to worry about exerting or anything.
Exactly. You get in your 3 there. He has to respond to it. You still have the ability to get back the Scrap Heap Scrounger and enable a License Disintegration that way. You have a Shock. You might be able to just burn him out.
There's your Spire. Here's your Crasher. In for 3. DeCandio's going to fall down to 8. Brennan will untap. He's drawing now. He's picked up a copy of Merfolk Branchwalker, and that'll be his play. Trigger for the Explorer. Triggers on the stack. Triggers resolving. There's a Mountain. That'll go to his hand. He didn't have a land to play. Now he does. He'll pass with a Magma Spray up.
So I'm not a big fan here of shocking the Branchwalker because there's 2 scenarios. One is DeCandio has a removal spell and you might have wanted to save the shock for something else. The other scenario is DeCandio's on nothing, and at that point you can exert the Crasher, get him down to 5, and you have shock and a License Disintegration left over.
And that should be able to clean up the game. Mountain the draw. There's land 5. Looks like maybe getting back Scrap Heap Scrounger on the main phase. It's a little risky here. Gonna go for Unlicensed Disintegration.
I'm not a fan of this line.
Magma Spray is gonna blow this up pretty good, I think.
I just don't know what is compelling you to do this when you can simply exert the On-Crop Crasher. That in the scenario where he has nothing, he's basically dead. And the scenario where he has something, you aren't exposing nearly as much as you are right here.
Mm-hmm. And Magma Spray all of a sudden looks really good.
Because what happens, you know, what if DeCandio on his turn, let's say you attack with the On-Crop Crusher and it dies. What can DeCandio do on his turn? Maybe he plays some big 4 or 5 mana creature. That point, you get back the Scrounger and the License Disintegration. You still have shock left over, and that just might be lethal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure DeCandio here.
Interesting. Gonna Magma Spray away the Crasher. There's Rekindling Phoenix, past the turn back. So he took the 3 from the Unlicensed Disintegration, where he could have Magma Sprayed the Scrounger,
It's possible he had a bigger long-term concern with the on-crop Crasher because he's playing a Phoenix. He has to block.
The actual text on the Crasher.
Right.
Because he can block the Scrounger all day.
Standard classic players, that is time in round 4, that's the end of round 4.
Yeah, block.
Player finish your turn, proceed to 5 additional
There's the Phoenix.
Standard classic.
Shock will take care of that, okay.
Yeah, DeCandio really struggling to stabilize at this point, and that's a big follow-up play.
Yeah, another Scrounger. Looks like a Braid Maven in the draw.
I mean, trying to manage this, that's the cost of the line that he took last turn, is trying to manage these Scrap Heap Scroungers in any way that isn't Magma Spray is really problematic over the long term. Because all he's got is he's got blockers, he's got removal spells, he's got Glory Bringer, and just all that stuff doesn't line up the right way. That's the consequence of the play that he took, deciding to use the Magma Spray on the on-crop Crasher instead.
Yep. Gonna cycle a Canyon Slew, draw a card, didn't get a great look.
Might have been a shock.
Here come the attackers. Braid will take care of one. Looks like Matthew Walker won the Modern match. Burn did defeat Jeskai Control, and it looks like Christopher Connett might be crossing the finish line here with his red-black aggro deck. If that's the case, your players on the right are gonna remain at the top of the standings. Merfolk Branchwalker is gonna reveal Death Gorge Scavenger. Pass the turn back. Scrappy Scrounger is going to come back from the graveyard. Exile a Bomac Courier. DeCandio is going to need a removal spell to even be able to stay alive here. Shrug the shoulders attack, and that is going to do it. Christopher Connett's going to win this match here over Brennan DeCandio. That means the team of Moughon, Walker, and Connett will win this match over Grace, Fear, and DeCandio. And for Storm, Burn, and Red-Black Aggro, and most notably Red-Black Aggro, undefeated is Christopher Connett in this tournament with his red-black aggro deck.